Well, hello and welcome to Rome for this, the fourth and fifth rounds of this ABB FIA Formula E Championship. We are, of course, in the capital city, the Circuito Cittadino del Ur, a circuit and the track that's been kind to the pole sitter, Stoffel Vandoorne. He was on pole here, of course, last year. He managed to convert that pace and form into pole position this morning. And now in slightly overcast but bright conditions, he's about to try and convert that pole position into the all-important win. Stoffel Vandoorne, of course, third in the points heading into this weekend. 7 points behind his Mercedes teammate and reigning champion Nick de Vries.
Alles Gute. Danke, ja.
Oliver Askew on screen. And now the calm before the storm. Doubleheader, of course, this weekend, and the Rome E-Prix one that all the teams, drivers and fans look forward to. A really tight and twisty circuit, as it always is in Formula E, but this one really does challenge the drivers. Well, apologies for any technical issues that we've been having my end. Antonio Felix da Costa getting strapped into his DS Techeetah car. Qualifying was an action-packed affair. The new system, of course, which sees the groups pitch drivers together, then they move forward into the quarters. It's a knockout system, then into the semis, then into the final. In the final, it was Robin Frijns and Stoffel Vandoorne. Frijns disappointed with his lap. Stoffel Vandoorne, it is, on pole position. There's his teammate, reigning champion Nyck de Vries. So Nyck de Vries was defeated by Robin Frijns in that first semi-final. Just a tenth of a second in it there. So he lines up third, just ahead of Antonio Felix da Costa, who rounds out the second row. Da Costa, of course, beaten by Stoffel Vandoorne in his semi-final.
Alex, can you do me a favor? Can you ask Tony to do a 2-second please?
Well, the grid being cleared. All the dignitaries here. Good to have the fans back. Edoardo Mortara, the championship leader, well, he's way back on the grid. As we filter down the grid, you'll have to look all the way down to 11th place to see Edoardo Mortara. Just couldn't quite get it together in qualifying. He's just behind Oliver Rowland, who was the other sort of big name who struggled in the group stages, having had a bit of a tête-à-queue, a bit of a spin to his name. Well, there are the fans. As I said, off the back of a few difficult years due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Fans back in the grandstands, and the Italians, the Tifosi, putting on a real show here as they love their motorsport. Well, if you haven't watched the Formula One, I won't spoil it for you, but that was a good qualifying session for the Tifosi, and they'll be looking now at this race on home soil to see how their homegrown star, Antonio Giovinazzi, does. Giovinazzi down in 21st place because the Dragon Penske car's just not at the races. He's ahead of his teammate, Sergio Sette Camara, but from the back of the grid, they've got a huge amount of work to do. Well, that's actually Robin Frijns. We just saw Stoffel Vandoorne. This is the second-placed car. Different colour scheme for Envision this year. Green and purple.
Just in front there, the banks of Ninfeo Park are packed with fans, some of whom have made the trips from all around Europe to watch the action unfold today. The cars are making their way around to the grid, and I'm fairly confident in this race being entertaining. I think we're going to see a settled first couple of laps. Everybody will sort of set themselves up and work out where they are, and then when attack modes come into play and the energy management comes into play later in the race, it'll get really busy. This feels like a race that is just going to crescendo.
Yeah, absolutely. I think attack mode, when you take it and when you do not take it, is critical to your strategy to either stay up front or get in front of this race.
Yeah, we'll bring you up to speed with exactly what attack mode entails a little bit later on. But the cars are now coming around to the grid. Here they are on the Via delle Tre Fontane, which used to be part of the Rome Grand Prix circuit from 1928 to 1930. They had the top class of motor racing on these streets. Formula E brought motor racing back to the streets of Rome for the first time in 62 years, and this now the 4th edition of the Rome E-Prix. That is Stoffel Vandoorne, the Mercedes EQ driver. 3rd in the championship. This is Jake Dennis looking forward from 6th place in the championship. Mercedes EQ now lead the team's championship because Stoffel Vandoorne got 3 points for securing pole position. That's Eduardo Mortara's view. He's the championship leader, and he is all the way back in 11th place.
300-metre run to that first corner, which is turn 4 on the circuit. Big camber across the road as well, so watch out for lots of lockups, possibly a little bit of contact on lap 1 turn.
Here comes Sergio Sedicamera and Antonio Giovinazzi to line up at the back of the field. The 5 lights will come on, and when they go out, 45 minutes plus 1 lap of racing will be underway. The 4th round of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. Vandoorne on pole, Frijns alongside him, all 5 lights are on. And we go green in Rome. It's a decent start from Frijns, but I think Vandoorne will hold it. Frijns is almost there, but has to bail out of it. The 2 DS Cheetahs are trying to get around Nyck de Vries as they come into the left-hander for the first time and then start the climb up the hill. Frijns manages to hold the place, and I think De Costa has got ahead of Jean-Eric Vergne. He's up into 4th place, so the 2 black and gold DS Cheetahs have switched positions. It's side-by-side further back between Roland and Lotterer as they climb the hill, which is some risky racing, but I think he's come out on top. Dennis is out of shape, and he's looking to the inside of the DS Cheetahs, and he doesn't quite manage to get through. Everybody else trying to safely make their way past. Sam Bird has got damage, and Roland is backwards. Oliver Roland is backwards on the exit, and that is really going to compromise a lot of drivers. He'll reverse out of the way, and then we will get some racing going. But is that Mortara? No, it's De Grassi. It's the other Venturi that got caught up in that. Everybody now coming down into the chicane. De Costa then into 4th place ahead of Vergne, but Vandoorne, Frijns and De Vries, the top 3 in the same way they were.
Yeah, and up in turn 7, lots of contact there. I wonder if Oliver Roland was hit from behind. It looks like a typical accident, getting hit from behind. I wonder if the track can be cleared though by the time these guys get there. About halfway around the lap from turn 7 at this point.
Yeah, it looked as though once Roland got going again, then he might be able to get ahead and get on his way, and the traffic will be cleared. But we'll keep an eye on that one. 43 minutes and a half to go, and that's Günther in the wall. Max Günther in the Nissan Edams has hit the barrier, and that is up at turn 9 that he's gone into the wall, and I think that could well bring out a stoppage. We've got 43 minutes and 20 seconds to go, but we'll keep an eye on this at the moment because Stoffel Vandoorne in the silver Mercedes EQ is the race leader. Right behind him is the green Envision car of Robin Frijns. Then it's Nyck de Vries, then it's De Costa, then it's Vergne, then it's Dennis, then it's Evans, then it's Verline, Lotterer and Bird, the top 10. So Sam Bird, after starting in 13th, has now got up into 10th position. They come through the left-hander at Nymphaeo Park and start to climb the hill.
And Sam Bird has damage though to his left front. Right front, sorry. I don't think it's going to cause him any performance disadvantage, but you see he's missing the wheel guard on his right front as he comes through camera now.
Race control.
Yeah.
This is race control. Full course yellow.
Full course yellow incoming.
4, 3, 2, 1. Please be aware that there's a car at the barrier, turn 9 drivers left. Be aware of the barrier, turn 9 drivers left. Full course yellow. Cars need to stay to the right through turn 9, please.
That's Scott Elkins, the race director, telling everybody to keep to the right-hand side. So Günther, well, we'll have to try and work out what happened. This is further on from the initial pile-up that we saw.
Now, bear in mind at the start of a Formula E race, well, the rear brakes are normally taken care of by regen. Let's have a look at That's good. That he just went straight on.
Well, I wonder if he picked up some front wing damage and that's gone
folded
under the front left tyre, because he just sort of steamed in there. That was Max Günther.
But you know, normally the rear braking is taken care of by regen. The motor going in reverse, and that's how it works rather than a mechanical braking system. But on the first laps, when the battery's full, there's nowhere to regenerate energy, so you have to rely on the mechanical braking system. But that changes, and if you've not got it set right, you can see what happens. And as the battery goes down, there's more room for regeneration, and so you've got to then bleed in a different brake balance system. So it's all very complicated, and when you get it wrong, that could be exactly what happened to Max Günther, but not the way he wanted to start the race.
Absolutely not. Whether he is out of the race or not, we'll wait and see, but I would imagine so.
It looks like some fairly sizable damage to the front crash structure, the nose of the car.
So big winners and losers as far as the opening lap goes. Really, Da Costa managed to get ahead of Bird. Bird made up a couple of places. Evans got past both of the Porsches. You can see he gained 2 places. Bird gained 3 places. Sim gained 3. Sete Camera and Giovinazzi gained 7 and 5 respectively. And the full safety car is now deployed. Now let's have a look at this coming into the first corner. Look at that, to the outside went Da Costa and went all the way around the outside at the first corner. I know that was Da Costa, so he got the better start, but actually managed to get ahead of them.
Yeah, Verne tried to go around the outside, thinking it was looking good for a second as they slowed down on the inside, but then of course the momentum shifted. But
so Da Costa started ahead of Verne, my apologies, so he hasn't gained that place, but it looked as though he'd lost
right
it.
Here, round the outside, just then Mercedes pushed it a little bit wide. Teammate was past.
This is on board with Jake Dennis. This is what he saw. And this is so difficult to pick what you're going to do at the first corner.
Yeah, and I watch how the momentum shifts. Verne to the outside. He's thinking at this point, ha, gotcha. And I watch the momentum on the inside shift. The black and gold to Cheetah, accelerating his teammate.
And then this is the tricky part, the run up to turn 7 at Piazza Gandhi.
Yeah, not quite flat probably in this first lap. And Dennis, where do I go? Now watch the cars move around as they hit the bumps further up into the braking zone at the top of this hill.
So keep your eyes towards the back. I thought De Vries was out of shape. Dennis was out of shape as well. And then further back, here comes Roland now. So someone's looking down the inside. It's Mortara. And then I think he just gets kind of pushed around and pincered between the 2 Venturis. And that's where I think Günther got his front wing damage and then went off at the next corner.
Possibly suspension damage too, Jack. It looks like the left front suspension might have taken a hit there as he ran into the back of his Nissan teammate. Look at Günther sideways.
Oh yeah, goodness me. On the right-hand side there.
There's got to be more damage, which, as you said, damage probably caused the incident in turn 9. This is damage that was inflicted on the car in turn 7. Wow. Pieces everywhere.
And then here's Roland there, just coming through that left-hander, and he's been nudged from behind. Oh, here we go. This is Roland's view of it.
Let's watch his hands. See if he can watch his head to see if he gets hit. Yeah, I think
all right, everybody, the safety car is going to be very slow through turn 10 here because we're recovering this car, so just be aware the safety car is going to be really slow through here.
So he kind of got, he just kind of got pushed back the other way into the barriers, and the 2 Dragons managed to sneak through. Scott Elkins is in the bottom right there, as he tells the cars to just be careful as they come through turn 10, and we are under safety car conditions. So there is Günther getting cleared away. So I would suggest we may have safety car in this lap.
We're going to take some energy out of the battery. The drivers don't get to store up the energy that they have in the battery. So we're going to take away for every... I'm talking.
Yes, we extend the race now.
Yeah, we extend the race now. Sorry,
Yeah, so...
excuse me.
At the end of the race, they will add time on because of this safety car intervention. And we'll wait and see how long it'll be when we get towards the end of the race.
So the engineers back at base are furiously doing the calculations on energy usage.
Yeah, absolutely. The Porsche Taycan safety car leading them around the Marconi obelisk there. 37.5 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Cars now behind the safety car. Safety car still staying out, so it won't be in this lap by the looks of things.
And we saw this last year. There was a massive separation in the field as they came up to to restart the race after the safety car. They're going to have to close these gaps. I know they've got another lap now to do it, but I don't want to see anybody sleeping as we did last year, because it really spread the field out.
Well, it's when the safety car is cleared, it can just go as fast as... when they're ready to bring it in, it'll go as fast as it wants. And if the leader goes as well, then then if you gapped it at the back, then you're going to be in big trouble.
Absolutely, which is why you should not be allowing the gap to be created at this point in the safety car, because you want to save a little bit of energy, but you've got to be on the gearbox of the car in front if you want to start going forwards.
Yeah, it's worked out not well, but okay for Oliver Rowland, because he was 10th when he had that collision, and he's been able to go into the pits and repair the car and then emerge. He's at the back of the pack, but he is at the back.
I'm sure he's delighted, Jack.
Look how spread out it is. But the reason they're gapping is because they want to go as slowly as possible and not use energy behind the safety car, but they need to all be... I don't know, it happens every time sometimes.
Yeah, but if they want to close that gap up under green flag conditions, they're going to have to use the energy another time. So
still no safety car is still out there, as you can see. As we have a look at this, your district of Rome, a couple of miles south of the city centre itself. Esposizione Universale di Roma, in the late 1930s for the 1942 World Fair, but then World War II came along and construction was halted quite a lot. Right, safety car in this lap, and if the safety car goes for it now, then the field's going to be so spread out. It doesn't, so it might back the pack up a little.
Safety car's going.
But safety car's going. But look how spread out it is behind the DS Techeetahs.
This is 12-13 sector of track. 19-turn circuit.
So the drivers now will try and catch up to the back. Stoffel Vandoorne's trying to stay as close to the safety car as possible. So those top four are Vandoorne, Freins, De Vries and De Coster. Those are the four cars there. And then it is Jean-Eric Vergne behind. Okay, we're starting to bunch up now. So they're starting to bunch up. Vandoorne is trying to leave a bit of a gap so that he can then floor it behind the safety car. But everybody has now come back together.
He's going to floor it when he's trying to catch Robin Freins behind him unawares, obviously. And there he goes.
So Vandoorne gets on the power. This is driver's eye with Robin Freins.
Green flag, green flag.
Through turn 19, out over the start-finish line. And Vandoorne leads the way. We go green again in Rome. And Freins is second. De Vries there is third in the number 17 Mercedes EQ. Then it's the two DS Techeetahs of De Coster ahead of Vergne as they come under the bridge. Down towards the left-hander of turn 4.
Jake Dennis is all over the back of Jean-Eric Vergne. Jake Dennis in the red Andretti, number 27.
But Evans right behind him. Mortara running in 11th place, still out of the points. Freins is pretty close here to the back of Stoffel Vandoorne as they come up towards Piazza Gandhi. We're on board with Freins. Looks to the outside, but Vandoorne just covers the inside a little.
Yeah, Stoffel Vandoorne got into trouble there last year with Andre Lotterer, but Robin Freins content just to sit in second right now. Obviously, they don't know already the drivers are thinking about energy, but they're also thinking about track position and just racing those around them and trying to get ahead.
33.5 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Vandoorne leading Freins second, De Vries third. Then it's the two DS Techeetahs, then it's Dennis, then it's Evans, then it's the two Porsches of Wehrlein ahead of Lotterer. We're coming now down to attack mode activation is now open, so we'll see whether any of them go this lap. I'd be surprised.
Attack mode activation is right at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah,
and that's going to take you lose about 5 to 10 car lengths if you do take attack mode, and it's going to be difficult to make up that kind of deficit during the race. So let's see if people are going to go for the undercut in attack mode or the overcut.
What you don't want to do is lose places and end up behind slower cars, and then you just lose touch with the cars ahead as they come down the hill again. Down towards Luna Park, this 90-degree left-hander at the lowest point on the circuit. Vandoorne across the line, Freins second, Vries, Coster and Vergne, the top 5. So there they come, the top 5. Then it's the two DS Techeetahs, Dennis, the two Porsches, Mortara, Cassidy, Askew, and there's Lucas Di Grassi, who after that contact lost out at the in that crash up at turn 7, so he's not really in the fight for points. He's gone from 12th down to 16th position. Trying to climb back up the order, but unable to do so just yet. So the championship leader would lose the lead of the championship as it stands. Van Dorn would be going to the top of the standings. Costa is looking pretty close to the back of these top 3. He's gapping Jean-Eric Vergne a little.
Yeah, absolutely. And the car balance is going to change as this race goes on, as the regeneration comes in, as the tyres heat up, and how the car handles. But right now, Antonio Felix da Costa and the black and gold Techeetah running fourth is right behind the Mercedes of Nyck de Vries.
We're aboard with da Costa now.
This is where the patience of a Formula E champion really comes into play. They know exactly how to read the race, and the car's telling them what to do, when to regenerate, when to brake, all that kind of stuff. But the drivers have that sort of sixth sense. They know what they can get away with as far as energy consumption and racing the cars in front.
But the Season 6 champion is trying to get ahead of the Season 7 champion.
There's that, Jack. I have to say, de Vries' car looks very good. Robin Frijns using a little bit more road in the black and the green and blue Envision car.
So this is how we are on energy. 15 minutes into the race. There is going to be a time extension, of course, but the top 6 have got less than those behind. So it looks like Evans backwards and maybe saving a little more than the top 6 who are fighting each other here. So we'll see what happens with that. At the moment, as it stands, there would be a 6-minute time extension, but if we get more safety cars or more full course yellows, then that can go up some more. Frijns is close to the back, and just wonder whether he thought about it there. The top 4 right together, nose to tail, as they come up through Piazza Gandhi and then out in front of the Coliseo Quadrato.
We see Cassidy and Askew, 13th and 14th, have taken the first of their attack modes.
Yep. Half an hour plus 1 lap to go. As they now come down to the chicane.
Yeah, Evans again looking very closely at the back of Jake Dennis's car. 12-13 chicane. We saw many incidents in practice this morning. Their driver just slightly misjudging it. Evans very happy with the pace of the Jaguar in practice, but encountered traffic during qualifying. Felt that limited him.
And there into attack mode then for the first time goes Antonio Felix da Costa, and he only loses 1 place. So you get a 13% power boost for 4 minutes, and you have to do it twice during the race. And that is what da Costa has done now for the first time, and he is now going to be running at a higher power. So in theory, he can go faster. And can he now close in on the back of his teammate Jean-Eric Vergne? And when will our race leaders try to activate their attack modes as well? Yeah,
we've seen both Porsches in 9th and 10th take attack mode as well. Sam Bird got ahead of both of those guys, so they're flying, formation flying the Porsches at the moment, taking attack mode in unison.
Van Dorn in the lead, a little look for Frijns, and he goes for it. Robin Frijns takes the lead of the Rome Prix, up the inside into turn 4. The Envision car hits the front, and how much will Van Dorn try to fight back here? We're on board with Nyck de Vries. He's in 3rd place. He's got his teammate ahead of him, his compatriot 1 place further on. And as they come onto the brakes into the left-hander of turn 7, there goes da Costa to the inside of Vergne. Now that looked like sort of formation flying there, because da Costa is in attack mode. He's in and so his teammate, fine, go through whilst you've got this advantage. And he's in a strong position here, da Costa.
Yeah, and he's got to go and pass these 2 Mercedes now in the next couple of straight bits, Jack, just to take advantage of that extra 13% of power.
28 minutes plus 1 lap to go. I wonder if Frijns has made that burst in order to now take attack mode and stay ahead of da Costa, who we're on board with da Costa here. He's trying to sort of use his extra power to get ahead, and no, that isn't what's happened. Both Mercedes EQs go into attack mode now, and they come out behind da Costa, and so does Jean-Eric Vergne, and I think Jake Dennis did as well. So Frijns now leads the way. Da Costa is now ahead of the 2 Mercedes cars.
And if you're Robin Frijns in the Envision car, you've got to push like crazy this lap, try and get a gap, and then you can take attack mode and lose. Well, hopefully, the plan is to lose no places for him. But let's see what happens.
Here's a replay of the move from Frijns.
Down into turn 4. Yeah, textbook pass. Absolutely fantastic on the brakes. Got a good run out of turn 3. You can see he's sort of looking, a little bit lifting coast from the Mercedes. Here comes the Envision car. We see Sam Bird being passed by one of the Porsches, and Lotter and him. And Lotter is also, Sam Bird now goes back behind both of the Porsches.
Yeah, so the Porsches had activated their attack mode, and now they've got back ahead of Bird. That was a tight one coming into the left-hander. Now look at the gap that Freitz is pulling. He's trying to pull away enough so that when he activates attack mode this time around, he can stay in front of, in particular, the Mercedes. Mortara's been given a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. That was the first lap up at turn 7. That's not good news for the championship leader at all, but Freitz is off.
Freitz is going, Jack, in the blue and green Envision car. He's absolutely doing what he has to do on this lap to take attack mode and stay in the lead of the race.
26.5 minutes plus 1 lap to go. How much do the cars behind then try and push in order to not let that happen?
They'll be pushing as hard as they can, but of course they've got to stay within their energy targets.
Exactly. 26 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Does Freitz go for it this time? Yes, he does. So Robin Freitz through attack mode. Does he keep the lead of the E-Prix? He does. So Robin Freitz has the lead of the race. He's got more attack mode remaining than the cars behind him too. So that's a very nice strategical move from the Envision team to get Freitz to the front with 26 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Mitch Evans has got ahead of Jake Dennis meanwhile when Dennis took his attack mode, but Freitz leads, De Coster second, Van Dorn third, De Vries fourth, Vergne in fifth, and De Coster is about to be out of attack mode, so he could then be under pressure from the two Mercedes EQs behind because they've got 1 minute and 40 left.
But how much energy do they all have?
Yeah, exactly. That's what we will find out a little bit later on. A little cover to the inside from Antonio Felix da Costa. ...25 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Freitz leading. How hard is Da Costa going to defend? Well, there's your answer. He covers the inside as much as he can, but Van Dorn goes all the way around the outside of him. Van Dorn is up into second place now. Da Costa drops to third. Is he going to drop to fourth within the next minute? Because De Vries is in attack mode too. So Da Costa went early on his attack mode and is now dropping back. To be fair, he was fifth when the attack modes started. So he may sort of be, if he ends up in fifth place, he's neither lost nor gained. But if he ends up in third position, he's gained a couple of spots.
And the balance of the Envision car that's leading looks very good right now. Looks good over the bumps as we see the Mercedes and the Techeetah getting pushed wide. Antonio Felix da Costa getting pushed wide from Nick De Vries.
And now he's lost out to his teammate as well. Into attack mode goes Mitch Evans in the Jaguar. Very smartly done as he drops now behind Dennis. Robin Freitz leading the Rome E-Prix. Stoffel Van Dorn is in second place. Nick De Vries is third. Jean-Eric Vergne is fourth. Antonio Felix da Costa is in fifth place. Jake Dennis is in sixth. And I wonder if Dennis has got a shot at da Costa here. He's got 10 seconds of attack mode remaining. They are coming down the hill into the left-hander at turn 3, but he might be a little too far back, Dario.
God, it's a big move to try and pass it out, break someone into turn 3, and he has not managed it.
No, not on this occasion. So Dennis sits in behind da Costa. So there is the battle.
Watch out for the black and blue Jaguar. We see Sam Bird there, but look for his teammate Mitch Evans in 7th. He's got 3 minutes of attack mode left and running in 7th place.
Stoffel Van Dorn has been told that he is over-consuming.
Just what you do not want to hear.
And here comes De Vries and Vergne. Neither are in attack mode, but Vergne is trying to get past Nick De Vries, and that is allowing da Costa and the red Andretti of Dennis and the green and blue Jaguar, the green and black Jaguar of Evans to come into the fight, and Evans is in his first attack mode now. But there is third, fourth and fifth, and a bit of a moment there for da Costa. He had to get out of it, and now Dennis is going to be very close to the back of him.
Yeah, da Costa lost momentum, so he's going to have to use extra energy to get back up to racing speed. Mitch Evans looking very strong in the Jaguar right now.
Robin Freitz leading the way. There is Mitch Evans in the Jaguar. Right up behind the red car of Jake Dennis. Looks to the inside, coming into the Marconi hairpin. That's a bit of an ambitious one. And it doesn't come off this time for Evans, but he's got 2 minutes left, and Dennis is defending hard now.
I thought Dennis was actually going to try and pass da Costa ahead of him, but it was just a bit of an early defensive move.
22 minutes and 23 seconds plus 1 lap left on the clock. We're on board with Jake Dennis as he now drops down the hill. Robin Freitz is now out of his attack mode. in the race lead, but he's 1.5 seconds clear of Stoffel Vandoorne at the moment. There is Vandoorne. Now there are the attack modes remaining, and is Evans going to go for it here? Pulls to the inside. Dennis comes across, and Evans is going to have a chance to get him up the hill here, and there's a mistake. Da Costa gets passed by Dennis, and he gets passed by Evans. They're going to go side by side up the hill. We're on board with Evans. Evans is going to try and get Dennis as well at the top of the hill. Here they come.
Brave move, Dennis.
Up towards Piazza Gandhi. Dennis covers the inside, but Da Costa's slipping back. He was in the lead of the race about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, but it almost looks like mistakes. I don't know if he's not happy with the braking system and how the mechanical system's working with the regenerative system on the back axle, but it just looks like it's not braking as he would like.
So Dennis now into 5th place, but there's quite a big gap. Now he's 1.5 seconds back from the 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st fight. We're on board looking backwards from the Avalanche Andretti of Jake Dennis.
But again, Jack, this is all about now energy. Who's got what energy left? That'll give us more of the full picture. And the teams don't have any more information than we're giving you right here.
21 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Evans is close still to Dennis, and I think he'll be frustrated if he doesn't get ahead of Dennis while he's in attack mode. There's the energy we have, and well, here's a replay of Evans. They all looked, oh, there was contact.
That would it was nothing to do with the braking system. It was the braking system on the Andretti.
Yeah, so Dennis is trying to, I think he's mainly trying to defend from Evans. I wonder if Dennis could get a little pen for that.
A little penalty, yeah, absolutely. No, that was, it was definitely contact, and because of that, Da Costa lost position, so...
That feels like a give the place back kind of scenario, but Evans got through as well, so that's the tricky part. Vandoorne, De Vries, Vergne, Da Costa and Giovinazzi have all been given fan boost. They won the fan vote, so they will get an extra boost of power for a few seconds in the second half of this E-Prix. Robin Freins is leading. Sam Bird has activated his first attack mode, so just Sims and Sete Camera have 2 attack modes remaining. And Evans now in the number 9 Jaguar, right up behind Jake Dennis.
And the frustration has got to be building in that Jaguar. And I have to say, you know, look, knowing the personality of Mitch Evans, he's going to be getting more and more hot under the collar, and he's going to be looking for a very aggressive attacking manoeuvre.
There's Sylvain Filippi, managing director of the Envision Virgin team, watching his driver lead. Ian James is watching his drivers chase. Roger Griffiths is having a drink. There goes Robin Freins then, second attack mode activated. Is he going to come out in front? They're going to be right together, and he bails out of it. So Freins, oh, and someone was in the wall further back. Jean-Eric Vergne, he went into attack mode, and then I think he got crunched into the wall by Jake Dennis. So Evans is up into 4th place. 5th now is Vergne, but in attack mode. Then it's Dennis in 6th and Da Costa in 7th. So that hasn't worked out perfectly for the Envision team. I think they were hoping they could get Freins out still in the lead, but they're still in a very strong position. But look how much more energy Evans has. He's got 2% more than everybody else around him at the moment.
And he's been managing that Jag for since the start of the race, so really he's thinking long game, Mitch Evans and the Jaguar, as Robin Freins goes for the lead again.
Freins at the same corner, overtakes on the inside, and is back in the lead of the Rome E-Prix. 18.5 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Robin Freins back in front, into the lead of the race. Stoffel Vandoorne is 2nd, De Vries is 3rd. But the difference is this time, Freins will want to get a gap, of course. And here comes Vergne to the outside of Evans. Evans holds the place.
Yeah, you see the halo above Vergne's head glowing blue. That means he's got attack mode.
The difference is this time, Freins doesn't need to build a gap, because he'll get a gap when Vandoorne and Freins activate their attack modes, and he's already taken his 2nd attack mode. So Freins is sitting fairly pretty at the moment, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, and the energy figures look good as well. It's one thing leading a race, it's another thing leading a race when you're not burning any energy.
Push to attack mode, push to attack mode.
And so that is Stephen Lane telling his driver Stoffel Vandoorne in 2nd place in the number 5 Mercedes EQ to take attack mode this time around. We'll see if De Vries does the same. He does not. So Vandoorne activates it. Where's he going to come out? Just slots in nicely between his teammate and Mitch Evans. So that's worked out okay for Mercedes EQ. But if they want to win this, they're going to have to do it on track and overtake Robin Freins fair and square. Here's a look at the replay of Price just doing the same thing again.
Yeah, another beautiful move. He used the extra power that attack mode gave him, and there you go. But Robin Freins in the lead of an Ypres. He's not going to give it up easily, let's be honest.
No, absolutely not, and he really tends to dominate when he does it. We'll see what happens here with Stoffel Vandoorne. He goes to the inside of Nick de Vries, and I think that looked like formation flying again, i.e. Vandoorne's got more power at the moment, so you let him through and it'll come back around the other side. And Vandoorne wants to try and build the gap to the Jaguar and the DS Techeetah behind, and here comes Jean-Eric Vergne. He's on the marbles. That was risky from Vergne.
You don't want to get in the marbles there.
And Evans goes ahead of de Vries. They're in the same race power mode, and Evans has just overtaken Nick de Vries. So Nick de Vries, reigning champion, now drops down to 4th position.
And Evans had the extra energy in hand that he could, when de Vries had to lift off and lift and coast to save energy, Mitch Evans could keep his foot down, burn that extra energy and get ahead.
The early stages.
Push to take attack mode. Push to take attack mode.
And now de Vries is being told to take attack mode. That was Vandoorne's move on de Vries. So de Vries is now being told that he's over-consuming energy as well. And this is where Mercedes looked, obviously, really very strong in qualifying, but it's not that easy when the race comes to manage these attack modes. I don't think de Vries did go for his second attack mode, so maybe they cancelled that order. But this is where we might have the move back for the lead of the Ypres, because Robin Freins is about to leave attack mode in about 10 seconds time. Vandoorne will have it for another minute and a half. So that one, Vandoorne sets the fastest lap of the race. He closes the gap to Robin Freins down to just 0.7 of a second, even less than that as they come through the left-hander at the bottom of the hill. And this is going to be the fight for the lead of the Rome Ypres. Robin Freins in front in the green Envision. Right behind him, Stoffel Vandoorne, and Vandoorne's in attack mode, and he very much looks in the mode to attack. Here they come up the hill now. This could be Vandoorne's opportunity for the lead.
Just got to feather the throttle through turn 6, Jack, and then try and pounce as they break for turn 7.
In between the trees, he goes to the outside and he gets ahead. Stoffel Vandoorne back to the front. He started on pole position, and it's shuffled its way out so that he's back ahead of Robin Freins, and he's got attack mode left for another minute. Mitch Evans is in 3rd spot. Nick de Vries is 4th. Vergne is 5th. Dennis da Costa, Wehrlein, Lotterer, Bird, the top 10.
Okay, Jack, you're marginal on energy. If you're Stoffel Vandoorne, what do? Do you attack and try and extend the gap, or do you just hold position?
Meanwhile, you've got the battle for 3rd and 4th, which is quite spread out at the moment, because I wonder if de Vries, I think de Vries is just massively trying to save energy here, because he's dropped so far back from Mitch Evans. Evans might have a window to activate his second attack mode, so let's keep an eye on this. I think he did, but he hasn't done it. And the interesting thing I find with attack mode is whether you use it defensively or offensively as well. Because for me there, Jaguar could have used it defensively to get it out of the way so that Evans won't lose places. Here's a look at the replay again of Vandoorne getting ahead of Freins, using that extra power up at the top of the hill.
Watch the cars moving around on the brakes as he does pull that move.
So Stoffel Vandoorne out in the lead. He's about to end his attack mode now. Here's de Vries. Right behind him is Vergne. And then there's fighting further back, Sam Bird and Edo Mortara. And Mortara gets ahead of Bird. So that is up into 9th place now for Eduardo Mortara, but he still has a 5-second time penalty. The incident involving de Vries and da Costa is under investigation, causing a collision at turn 14. Don't think I remember that one. Here's de Vries, and Vergne going for it, and de Vries tries to close him off, but it's too late. Vergne's got him. Nick de Vries struggling, sliding back down the order, and Mortara has got ahead of the Porsche of Wehrlein, but this is almost like a carbon copy repeat of de Vries's race in Diriyah, race 2.
It looks like he's got an issue. I mean, it was one thing over-consuming energy and having to save, but he's really struggling.
Vandoorne, Freins, Evans, all together. Now look, Vandoorne and Freins have 42% of energy remaining. Evans has 44. He's way more than anyone else.
Okay, Nick, just focus on increasing charge. Let's drive our race.
Let's drive our race is the message. Evans activates his second attack mode now.
He's going to going to use that extra 2% of energy that he's got in the tank. He's going to use that to attack the leaders.
12 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Van Dorn leading, Frijns second. That man, Mitch Evans, is in 3rd position.
And he needs something good to happen, Mitch Evans. He's 17th in points right now.
Yeah.
He's a championship contender.
Here's a look at Jean-Eric Vergne making that move. Went to the outside, sold the dummy, went to the inside. De Vries came over, and he just got it stopped. Lovely stuff from Vergne there. And that is still more fighting. De Vries is in big trouble here. De Coster has just got ahead of him. Eduardo Mortara's got ahead of him. And Frijns is back in the lead of the race. Robin Frijns has got back ahead of Stoffel Vandoorne. They're side by side in the Porsche there. And here has Vandoorne made a mistake because Frijns has got ahead. Evans is in attack mode, and Evans is going to try and get ahead of Vandoorne here. Here they come up towards turn 7. Evans might go for 2. No. He's up into 2nd place though. So what happened to Stoffel Vandoorne? It looked like he was comfortably managing it. Evans has got 3 minutes of attack mode left. He's right behind Robin Frijns. He's got more energy. Evans could be on for a huge result this afternoon.
And Robin Frijns has looked in his mirrors and he's seen the Jaguar there, and he's asked probably asked his engineer what's going on. They've told him. He's thought, oh dear. That's the polite version, obviously.
He started, Mitch Evans, 9th on the grid, and here he is. We're inside the front of the car, fighting for the win. And Frijns is defending, but he's not going to be able to defend when Evans has 2 minutes 20 seconds of attack mode.
Watch for Evans at the exit of the Marconi hairpin, Jack. Get a better drive off, use that extra power that he has with attack mode, and see if he can make the pass into 16. Another defensive move by Robin Frijns.
Jake Dennis activates his 2nd attack mode. Mitch Evans took his and Jaguar's first ever formulary victory here in Rome a few years ago, and he's looking in a very, very strong position this afternoon. Here they come across the line then. Frijns leading, but for how much longer? Less than 2 minutes to go of attack mode for Mitch Evans. He's still got quite a long way of this race to go, at least another 15 minutes or so. And
this is where we've seen a lot of the passes into turn 4. Mitch Evans to the outside.
Frijns covers the inside, but Evans is through. Mitch Evans takes the lead of the Rome Prix for Jaguar. And he hits the front, and now will start to pull away. What happened to Vandoorne as well? Because he's just dropped back from this pair. Into the pits has come Oliver Rowland. I think his day is pretty much over. 9.5 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Evans leads, Frijns 2nd, Vandoorne 3rd. This is what happened with Frijns. Same place. Oh, and, well, he went for it. Vandoorne sort of almost realised he was blocking too late in a way.
Yeah, no, that was a pure overtaking manoeuvre. No mistake from Stoffel Vandoorne. Robin Frijns just made the overtaking manoeuvre. And that was it. I think you probably find that Vandoorne thought, oh, if I block him anymore, I'm just actually going to lose time myself, and allow Mitch Evans into the picture, which happened.
Yeah, it happened anyway, didn't it?
Absolutely.
So that's where Robin Frijns managed to take the lead, but the lead did not last very long. So, around the Marconi obelisk, Mitch Evans is leading. He's 1.1 seconds ahead of Robin Frijns in 2nd place. 3rd is Vandoorne. Then 4th and 5th are Dennis and Vergne. So Dennis has just got ahead of Jean-Eric Vergne, in fact, so he is now up into 4th spot. Vergne down to 5th. There's the energy remaining. Evans has got more energy than those behind as well. And I don't think he could do a Porsche here and make it 1 lap longer than
he hasn't got enough, Jack. No, it's about 1%, isn't it? Also depends at what point of the lap each driver is, because every time they got the braking zone, they had a little energy into the battery with some regeneration.
5-second time penalty for Jake Dennis for causing a collision. That's the nudge on the DS Techeetah that gave him a place, which is, I think, about right, to be honest.
Quite fair, yeah.
Yeah. And there is Pascal Wehrlein trying to get through the field. De Coster's now back into 7th place. Then you've still got Sam Bird in 9th position. He was hoping to get into the top 5. He's got a lot of energy left compared to those around him, but I think he might be a bit too far adrift. Here's Robin Frijns, who is ahead of Stoffel Vandoorne, 2nd and 3rd. Then 4th is Dennis, but Dennis has a 5-second time penalty, which will be added at the end of the race. His gap back to Vergne is 1.5 seconds. So as it stands right now, Dennis is running in a net 8th position. But he'll try and extend the gap as he goes.
Mitch Evans looking very strong with a 2-second lead right now in this group, Jack. He's just got to manage that gap. There's pointless burning energy to extend the lead a lot more than that, because if we get a safety car, that lead goes back to 0.
We're riding with Dennis, who sends it. Ahead of Stoffel Vandoorne and up into third spot now, Jake Dennis. He's got 40 seconds of attack mode remaining. It's whether he can get ahead of Freitz or not before that attack mode runs out. He's still got that 5-second penalty, as I say, so he's not running in third place, even though it appears to be so.
Obviously, he's trying to stretch that advantage to get away from the cars behind him, so when that 5-second penalty is assessed, that moves him further up. But he's also used more energy than those cars around him, quite a bit.
Yeah, he's 2% here, so interesting to see what happens to Dennis in the remainder of this E3. 6.5 minutes plus 1 lap to go, but we will be getting added time fairly shortly. We're on board with Dennis. Freitz defending. Now, to me, this is where the team needs to be. You don't need to defend against Dennis. He's got a 5-second time penalty. See what happens as they climb up the hill. He's now out of attack mode as well, Jake Dennis. Third has got ahead of Da Costa now and up into 8th place. Let's see whether Dennis goes for it here into Piazza Gandhi.
I would be defending too, though, Jack, because if Dennis gets ahead and Dennis goes for the move into turn 7, Dennis gets ahead and holds you up because he's out of energy. It allows the guys behind to have more chances to attack you.
Yeah, very true. Dennis in 2nd place, Freitz in 3rd, Vandoorne in 4th. So this Mercedes...
Who saw a Jaguar and Andretti running 1-2
yeah,
with a vision in 3rd before this race?
I know, and it's just mad what has happened to the Mercedes team. They've started 1st and 3rd, Vandoorne and De Vries. They're now 4th and 10th, and don't really look like they're going to be able to make up more places. Whether their car is quick over 1 lap but not efficient in the race compared to the others, but it's the 2nd time this year that it will have happened.
Absolutely. And then you look at the Porsche guys that dominated in the last round, and right now 7th and 11th.
Sergio Sinicamera, Dan Ticktum and Antonio Giovinazzi have been given a 5-second time penalty for a safety car procedure infringement. So don't know exactly what that was, but it will affect those drivers down in 15th, 19th and 20th.
Jake Dennis then at 25% energy.
That's
Mitch
a lot
Evans,
less.
yeah, that's a lot, Jack. Robin Freitz behind him 27%. Mitch Evans ahead, just turned flick to 27 there. Jake Dennis might be in trouble here, guys.
But Mitch Evans is leading the race for Jaguar. 2nd there is number 27, Jake Dennis. 3rd is Robin Freitz. 4th is Stoffel Vandoorne. There is Bird up into 7th position. So he was aiming for top 5, and he's coming back into that a little more at the moment. Lucas Di Grassi is making his way. The safety car procedure penalty was for leaving too big a gap between cars, so that's why they have had that penalty. So Dennis, Freitz, Vandoorne and Verne, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. That's the battle at the moment, all behind Dennis. Evans is just disappearing up the road. He took one of the most dominant wins in Formula E history in Mexico City last year, and he's looking on course for another one. 26% energy, 3% more than Dennis. Right.
Man, they're going to come at me so fast.
Added time at the end of this race is going to be 5 minutes and 15 seconds. So that we took the time behind the safety car, we've added it to the race, and so we will have 5 minutes and 15 seconds of added time, which will start once we get down to 0. So that's where we will end up with. And they come through the right-hander now. Dennis saying on the radio there, Dario, they're gonna come at me in a minute because he's got so little energy.
Well, he's going to have to pay his tax bill, isn't he? The amount of energy he's used is going to come back and haunt him, unfortunately. And he knows it's coming. He absolutely knows it's coming. Sam Bird in 7, quite a way back behind him, but he's got energy in his pocket too in the other Jaguar, and he's going to be coming on strong.
3 minutes. Well, we've got the 3 minutes, and then once we get to 0, that's when the added time starts. Vandoorne using his fan boost here to try and get Freitz, maybe? I think he is. Vandoorne to the inside, tries to catch Freitz unawares. Vandoorne uses his fan boost, gets ahead of Freitz and up into 3rd position now.
Did you see the car snaking on the brakes? The Mercedes EQ absolutely on the limit of adhesion. Lovely stuff from Stoffel Vandoorne.
Evans leading in the Jaguar, and here comes Dennis under pressure now from Freitz. So Vandoorne is up into 2nd place, he gets ahead of Dennis. Freitz gets ahead of Dennis as well, and this is where that energy turns into a bit of a menace.
Van Dorn in second is 4.3 seconds behind Mitch Evans. Let's see if he can start closing that gap. It's a big ask because Mitch Evans is in one of those just rhythms, in one of those moods. He's just dominating this race in the Jaguar.
Yeah, really is. He's 4.7 seconds ahead now of Stoffel Van Dorn. Huge performance here from Jaguar, and they've said every race. Oh, and there's another car going past Dennis. It's Jean-Eric Vergne. So Dennis is just in big trouble. Mortara is in a good place now as well. So I think that Andretti thought the race was going to be one lap less than it was, or than it will be, and pretty soon he'll have saved enough to go sort of back up to speed, but it's going to take a lot of time for them to sort it out. Evans is leading the way, Van Dorn is second, Freins is third. Now behind Dennis, you've got Eduardo Mortara in the black car here, the Rocket Venturi. He's the championship leader, and he's about, I think, to jump up into 5th position pretty shortly. Will it be here, coming down into turn 4? He moves to the inside, and it is indeed. So Mortara now up into 5th place. That's 10 points. Second place man in the championship is Nick De Vries. He's out of the running. Van Dorn has 31 points, so Mortara might hold the lead of the championship here.
And Sam Bird in the Jaguar looks like he's lining up Jake Dennis to you. Jake Dennis in the Andretti, absolute sitting duck right now.
So Bird up into 6th position. Evans leading. Van Dorn and Freins are really scrapping it out over 2nd and 3rd. Van Dorn, Freins, and also Vergne. Vergne's involved in the fight here too. Evans is just gone. Cheerio. Might as well be in New Zealand.
He's now 5.7 seconds ahead.
Yeah.
He went back to New Zealand for the first time in a couple of years between the last 2 races between Mexico and this race. So maybe she go home more often. Unbelievable performance by Mitch Evans.
His parents are here this weekend as well. Evans is just gone. So, Van Dorn, Freins, Vergne. Freins has the most energy out of these 3 drivers as they make their way up back into the back streets again towards the Piazza JFK. Very close behind for Mortara, was that? Yeah, Mortara in 5th. Has just got Sam Bird right ahead of him. So Bird has climbed through the field fairly nicely, considering he started 13th. To be fair, Mortara started 11th. So they kind of started together. Bird also took his attack modes quite late, and we'll see whether he, here, can make a move on Eduardo Mortara, because he'd love 10 points to chip away at his championship challenge. We're into added time now, as you can see. So 4 minutes 50 plus 1 lap to go. Vergne's using his attack mode. Nick De Vries is using his as well. Vergne was using it, I think, to try and get Freins, but he was too far back.
And you see Mortara and the Black Venturi, Sam Bird and the Jaguar with damage to the cars. I think, how are they able to keep pace? The Formula E cars are built with no real aerodynamics on purpose so they can run so close together. So they've lost some bodywork, and as it slowed them down, here comes Jean-Eric Vergne on Robin Freins.
I think Freins was trying to attack Van Dorn, but Vergne has taken advantage of it and moved up into 3rd place. Freins has still got more energy than those 2 ahead, but it's allowed Mortara and Bird to join the fight too. So suddenly we've got this 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th place queue all together with 4 minutes plus a lap to go. Now can Van Dorn pull away now? He's back at the... Well, he's been at the front of this queue the whole time, but he was under pressure from Freins, and that's what allowed Vergne the opportunity. What can the DS Techeetah driver do? The 2-time champion.
Jeff has used Fan Boost.
That's Vergne being told that, Van Dorn being told that Vergne has used his fan boost. Both of them have, in fact, so neither of them have that in their locker.
Sam Bird still with the most energy at the back of this pack. The Jaguar guys, they weren't telling any fibs, were they? The pace has been there in the car in 1 lap and all day.
3.5 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Van Dorn, Vergne, Freins, Mortara, Bird, all right together for 2nd place. Mitch Evans has checked out. Might as well start doing practice for the race tomorrow.
Jake Dennis down to 13th place in the Andretti.
So strong, wasn't he? But it's all fallen away from him there. Now here they come into the left-hander. The best overtaking spot is at the top of this hill at Piazza Gandhi. How aggressive is Jean-Eric Vergne going to be? How he would love a 2nd place finish. And he's right behind Stoffel Van Dorn here. Bird is at the back of the queue as well, keeping an eye on everything. Van Dorn was on pole position. Vergne goes to the outside. Freitz looks to the inside. Nothing doing yet, but every time Van Dorn defends, he will use up energy.
Yeah, also, that's maybe opening the door for those behind as well to have a cheeky move down the inside. So I heard some contact there with, I think it may be the curb. I'm hoping it's the curb, not somebody in the wall.
Here they come again. Look at this train of cars, all behind Stoffel Vandoorne. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Even De Coster is almost back in the fight in 7th place. Down towards the right-hander that takes them back out onto Via Cristoforo Colombo. Bird locked up, trying to get past De Coster. And there's a look from Freitz into the Marconi hairpin, and Freitz is back up into 3rd place. So, Vandoorne in 2nd still, Freitz back up into 3rd. He had a fraction more energy, and he's been able to use it. Now, so Evans just came across the line with 1 minute 53 to go, so this is going to be tight as to whether it's 2 or 3 more laps. It's very similar to Mexico City. That was the move from Freitz.
Yeah, textbook stuff from Robin Freitz. He's on form today. Some of these passes have been terrific. Yeah, 1 minute 53, Jack. It's going to be another lap, isn't it? There's no way he's going to slow down 10 seconds.
Yeah, I thought it was 43, but we'll see.
You said 143 or 153?
I think I said 43. Here comes Freitz anyway, now trying to get past Vandoorne. And Freitz is now up into 2nd place. The other Mercedes is coming to the pits. Nick de Vries is not going to score any points here. He's coming to the pit lane. Evans leads. Freitz is now 2nd. Vandoorne 3rd. And he's under big pressure from Jean-Eric Verne, with Eduardo Mortara still in the fight too. Vandoorne covers the inside. Mortara tries to go to the outside of Verne now. And Bird is up the inside of Mortara. Wheel to wheel. They keep going. Another little tap in the back from Bird. Through the right-hander.
This is fabulous stuff. Fabulous racecraft from these guys. You can see a little bit of frustration with a couple of guys getting blocked off, but Sam Bird still looking strong, and Mortara, he's got to be looking in his mirrors, watching out for that Jaguar, trying to make a late lunge. Yeah,
Freitz has pulled away now. He's set a personal best middle sector. He's gone a second quicker than Vandoorne in the middle sector. So Freitz now starting to gap the cars behind. Bird is so close behind Eduardo Mortara, and he sends it. Sam Bird up into 5th position, gets ahead of the championship leader Eduardo Mortara. Jaguar now running 1st and 5th. And can he also get Jean-Eric Verne here, Sam Bird? They've been saying all season, and here comes him now across the line, and the final lap begins. So there was only a second or 2 in it, but they've managed it so that this is the final lap. Freitz might be in a bit of... He's pulled away, so he should be all right in terms of energy.
Yeah, but Bird has got a little bit less energy than those around him, so he's going to have to manage this last lap. His instinct is to attack the car in front. The black and gold Techeetah ahead of him, but that might cause him to run out of energy.
Here they come into the left-hander, and now they will start to climb the hill. I think they can push pretty hard here because they've got quite a lot of energy remaining. I think they were all prepared for it to go 2 laps longer. Yeah. So now I think they can push. Well, listen to the lift and coasting here. Does Bird lift early?
Nope.
A little bit, but not much at all. So this is a flat-out fight on this final lap. Vandoorne in 3rd position, trying to hold on to the final podium spot.
And if I'm Sam Bird at the moment running 3rd in this queue, I'm going to try and set up to make that same manoeuvre into the Marconi hairpin, turn 13. We're coming through into turn 11 right now, so a couple of corners to set up this overtaking manoeuvre.
Vandoorne running in 3rd place. Jean-Eric Verne in the black and gold DS Techeetah. He's in 4th position right behind. That is Robin Freitz in the green Envision out in front in 2nd position. As he gets onto the brakes into Cristoforo Colombo, but here's Mitch Evans coming out of the hairpin now towards the final couple of corners. Bird isn't close enough. He sends it in really deep into the hairpin, but it isn't going to be enough. Mitch Evans has only picked up 1 point so far this season. A torrid start to the year, but at the venue he took his first and Jaguar's first formulary victory. Evans wins again in Rome. The checker flag for... Jaguar are us. This was a make or break weekend for their championship, and it could well have made it. Freitz 2nd across the line, 3rd for Stoffel Vandoorne, 4th for Jean-Eric Verne, 5th for Sam Bird. De Coster, Mortara. Mortara ended up behind De Coster in the end. Verline 8th, Cassidy up in the 9th place, and Lotterer completing the point scorers in 10th position.
What a fabulous race. We talked to the winner.
Absolutely.
Mitch, it's Dario on TV. Congratulations. That was a dominant performance, mate.
Thanks, mate. It's been a while since you said those words. Thank you so much. Oh my God, the car was insane. Insane. Thank you so much for the team. It's been a painful start, but there's been so much work in the last 8 weeks, so yeah, thank you guys.
Well done, mate. Awesome.
So fantastic, Mitch Evans. A long time since you said that, he said, didn't he?
Phenomenal. I mean, just another dominant performance, Jack. Like you say, reminiscent of that job he did in Mexico City. I think it was last season. Just drove away from the field, and this team, the Jaguar team, really came away from Mexico with the tail between their legs. 7th in the points, and now what a job they've done to get back into the fight.
What a nice, good race that was. I love formulary races like that. There was, you know, we had the one safety car early on, and then it just all just builds and builds, and
I'm buzzing.
Yeah, you just end up with a crescendo, and you don't know. Okay, you knew who was going to win. To be fair.
Control. Just as a reminder, top 3 cars go to the podium. Top 3 cars go to the podium.
So that's the top 3 being told where to go, so we can speak to them in a few moments' time.
I need a name right now.
Jaguar just had 13 points at the start of the race today. This time last year they had 74, and now they are really in championship contention. And they've proven today what they've been saying to us all along. We have a race car. We have a car that is quick in the race. We just need to qualify well, and then we can deliver. 9th on the grid, Evans was today, and he takes the victory after a superb race here in Rome. It's Mitch Evans who comes out on top for Jaguar. And there will be the fans will be at the podium ready to, I'm sure his parents will be at the podium as well. Freitz and Van Dorn, the other drivers on the top, on the podium positions. Look at Mitch Evans climbing out of the car. Taps the front, stands on top. And Mitch Evans is the winner for the 2nd time in Rome. And once he hit the front, he just drove away, didn't he? Jaguar were confident that they had a quick race car, and they've absolutely demonstrated it here. Pats on the back, all around. High fives with Robin Freitz. The podium is getting ready. And there's a lot to discuss after that, isn't there? De Vries, Roland and Gunter, the 3 drivers who never finished the race, as they make their way towards the podium now. Mitch Evans celebrates with his team after winning the Rome Prix. He will be on the top step of the podium before too long. That is Evans' 3rd win in the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. And a really big one. Because as I say, he had 1 point coming into this weekend. And okay, those 25 will take him up to 26 points. He's still going to be quite a way off Mortara, maybe half the points. But it shows the pace, it shows the competitiveness that they have. And they have a real opportunity of taking this championship fight to the Mercedes EQ drivers and the Venturi drivers who are at the top of the championship standings at the moment.